Hey everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, the 40-year-old ficus gets its plant room trim for the fall. Welcome to Bonsai Acres. Welcome everyone into another edition of Let's Make Room in the Plant Room with all of my tropical trees. So they're still outside on the porch. They're going to stay out there as long as I can, but I'm slowly bringing some in and I'm cleaning them up, and this one is no exception. Now, part of the reason why I'm going to clean this guy up is because this one a couple years ago in my plant room seemed to have the most trouble with some fungus gnats or just, some soft-bodied bugs that were just kind of clinging onto this, and it looks really beautiful right now, and I'd love to keep it inside and just showcase this beautiful tree right now. But there's also a lot of branches on here that are probably just not needed, and we can clean it up a little bit so I can keep an eye on some of these tricky spots where bugs might fester. So this is probably the front of this tree. That's the back of the tree with the wound. This is the front of the tree. We've got this nice exposed roots down here. It looks really, really nice. This chop is kind of that way. This chop is kind of here. And when you cover up the big chops like this one right there, the tree looks kind of fun, and it's getting there. It's slowly starting to heal up and look like a decent tree. But there's a lot to be said for cleaning things out and putting the energy to where I want it to grow. If I have energy going where I don't want it to grow, I think that's a waste of energy. And that's also going to maybe make a couple of spots where maybe there's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 branches growing from one area, and then we get those bulges right away. We want to make sure we can tackle that as soon as possible. So this is one of the newer branches on this tree after all the cutting back, and it's getting nice and thick, and we have some multiple things going on there. So let's take a look at this guy first. So looking at this branch, there was a branch in here that was chopped probably last year, real close to the trunk here, to make this grow more out and up. And it's doing just fine. So this could be wired down in the future. I'm not going to worry about that today, but this could be wired down for a little bit more horizontal branch, but it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good here, and even the height it's at is okay with me. But I will cut off this section right here. And now you see it makes this more of a flat kind of pad out here. And then where there is 1 going to 3, we're always liking to cut down to 2. So I'm going to cut this inside one out so it doesn't cover the front part of the tree. And now we have a split right there. And let's go ahead and cut this a little bit shorter, and let's cut this a little bit shorter. And this one we can go 1 more. And there, that one's balanced out. So just a little bit of cleaning, but that already reduced this branch by over 50%. And it's gonna be much easier for me to monitor for bugs and critters and things like that. So we're in good shape. And then there's also a side branch over here that's growing, so that's a nice split. So if we ever wire this over here maybe and have this secondary branch, we have a nice pad starting here. This is too low, and this is how this thing ferociously backbuds. So let's spin it around to this back side. Look at all this new growth, right? It's going crazy. And here's more upward growth. Now, I don't mind a little bit of upward growth, but there's a lot of it right here. Get rid of some of these little ones here. So we got a thick one and a couple of thin ones here. So there are 3 branches in here. Back here, right there, and right here. This one's a little weak. It's on the inside, so I'll put it away from the trunk as much as possible. What does this do? This splits up here and goes more up, so I'll just cut that off. I'm going to cut this new growth off. And this one goes down, so let's cut that off. And I don't know if that branch is going to stay. It's kind of an upward branch. It's almost too up and down. We like to cut some of those off. This also has a new growth that's in a weird position. I think I'm even going to cut that shorter. So all kinds of leaves that want to do something here. Even one back here that kind of died off. Yeah, and this one kind of goes towards the back, so I'm going to cut that shorter. And we may end up keeping the one that goes towards the back instead of this one. And as a matter of fact, I like that. It opens up the view of the tree. So there we have a branch that goes that way and a branch that comes this way, and this one might also go that way eventually. It's a nice looking branch right there. We'll cut this inside growth off, and then we've got all kinds of little tiny things in here from deep down, I think, where this cracks off right down here. So there we go. So we have all this little growth down here. This thing just back buds profusely. Look at all that. So we're just cleaning that stuff out. That's all stuff that's not needed. And it's kind of making a little bit of a bulge here. And you see in the back here, look at this branch right here. This is growing down underneath and back this other way. I don't like that. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna actually give this a little bit of a shave here with my concave to make that a little less obnoxiously bulged right there. There we go. I cleaned that up just a little bit. And so we've got all these little tiny things wanting to grow in the cracks and crevices. So we just cleaned up that bottom branch. So we got to go up the tree and do that. There's another branch growing out the back here, like right here. We don't want that one either. So now you can see the branch from the back side, nice and cleaned up. And from the front, we can see this going back towards here to fill up some space over here. This is out here with this new branch right there. And this could come off someday in favor of that. But either way, there's that primary branch, that first primary branch of this big tree. And now next summer, I will let this entirely grow out and grow out and grow out and get long and leggy, and to get this all continue to get thicker and thicker and thicker. So that's just one section of the tree. So I got to do that throughout the entire tree. So if I find some areas that I want to show you some examples of what I'm doing, I will, but we're going to move this from this section now up to over here. So I thought I'd show you the back of the tree real quick here, as I've made a couple of clips already and cleaning up the bottom of that branch. This is the big chop here. It comes at an angle, but the tree really sticks out that back way. Looks better this way, but that's not the front of the tree. And so we don't want to see that scar, so we're not seeing the scar right here, but we see this scar down here. We really had some cleaning up to do. And this branch did come way up here. It's almost like a 90-degree branch there. But if we cut this thing entirely off, it might make a super duper huge, of course, cut and wound to heal. Now, up on top, there is life. There is some life right here, so it's alive, and we could get some more back budding down here, but we don't want much growth here until this catches up to this, or this one back here also catches up. And then we'll have kind of 3 branches coming off this trunk. It'd be nice to have maybe something off the back here, but nothing has grown there yet. So we'll clean it up, and maybe some of that back branching will happen in the coming year, and then we can always make our adjustments. So I'll continue to look at these 3 branches in this area and make some cuts that I think will keep this tree in good shape for this winter in the plant room. And then next year, you know, we can defoliate this thing when we put it outside in the spring. This one was completely defoliated late spring, early summer. I got a little scorched from the sun, so I defoliated everything. There wasn't a leaf on this tree. And look at this, it's been really fun. So I don't mind these branches covering up this old scar area here. If that's covered, that's fine. I don't want to have too many branches there, but I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and then we'll see what we got. So as we finish cleaning up this area, I cut out about 3 or 4 branches within this area. It comes up here, comes a little towards me, and then I like this back branch going back in there, right in between these 2 big branches, this trunk and this big thick branch here. I left this one here for now, and this one kind of swoops up too. We'll see what those do. This might come off in the future. We don't like branches going in towards the other trunks, but this is such a big tree with no leaves in here that we can maybe get away with this for right now. And then of course this I'd want to shrink down here with back buds in here and here, and or this is going to thicken up compared to this. So I went ahead and chopped off some of this growth, and I'll go ahead and chop it down even more here and here, so the energy's not there. Plus again, this is in my plant room, so this is not going to be on this huge growth spurt right now, but it will grow inside the plant room. And so then we can move around to the back of this conglomerate of bushy multi-angled branches here. So this has got Look at this is new growth since this was chopped, and since this was chopped, we put out some growth this way. Not horrible, but this one down here is a bit of an awkward angle for this tree, but it does come off to the side here a little bit. It's just kind of a weird angle. This one doesn't flow out of the tree. There. That branch flows out of the tree. And even though I'd like a branch a little further in, over here in the back, I have what I have, and that's all we'll do for right now. So I just want to see if I can get in here and clean this guy up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that cleaned this guy. So weird growth inside the crack growth. We'll get that one off. We'll make this shorter. I think we'll change the direction of this guy to this one back over here, but we'll cut it shorter, and we'll cut it shorter. So there's that whole section in here, right? Really short back here. I missed this dead guy right here. But we've got a couple of branches that can fill up this area over here, so this and this has to catch up to this. Hey, my lasagna's done. Let's go check dinner, everybody. So we've done the bottom half of the tree. Now we have the top half of the tree. And so I really have to take a peek at this and kind of see what is going on in here, because there is just so much extra growth. Like, again, we have branches growing down from here, all these little tiny branches that really can be rubbed off, just pinched off. This thing really has been a good back butter. I will give it that. As I clean out more and more of this tree, I want you to show how crazy this thing grows. I mean, look at this curve up here, and then this is going down. We don't want that down at all. And this is so thick in here. It got real chunky right there. So what I'm hopeful for is that if I cut all this off, I'm hopeful that I'm going to get some back budding to get a branch lower, because this right here is really unsightly, really crazy. Reverse taper, big bulge. We might just cut that off completely. There is a branch down here that I saved, but we're going to look for, hopefully, a little bit of back button on that branch. So we'll let that one go there. So yeah, this is getting a little bit robust and just out of control with its growth. So we're just going to keep this short. And those might go away someday if we don't get any back budding. That's just way too chunky and thick and too much space without... So actually, let's be bold. Let's be brave. Let's just cut it right here for today in the plant room. Right below this nub. And we can put some cut paste on that. And it's right above this cut. We'll see if we get some more growth there, because wherever this has been cut in the past, it's just shooting out tons of growth. And it's just because I didn't get to it sooner this summer, these branches are just, some of them are just absolutely not usable in any way, shape, or form. And it's just creating such a bulgy set of branches here that we can't even use this now. But again, we keep cutting back, and eventually we'll get more growth and we'll make some better decisions. So there won't be much left on this tree, and that's just fine. It'll just grow slowly in the plant room, and I am okay with that. I need to recut that guy. That wasn't a clean cut. Time to sharpen my scissors. A little spider going there. We'll let him stick around and clean up house of anything that might be on this tree. Put the scissors down, Dave. All right, this one has been cut, defoliated, different times of the year. Always responds really well. It's in really good soil. Just got it in this pot this year, earlier in the summer, and it just took off. And so now we have 2 gigantic sticks in a pot with some future branching. Now this one's a little bit tall. I probably could bring that in too. I just don't know if there's gonna be any back budding down in here. This one's got its kind of path here. I big chop right here, big chop over here. Yeah, I think this one goes a little bit further to the left, but I'm okay with it at the moment. Let's just leave it there, and as I say, keep the scissors down. There we go, another cleanup. Wow, what a lot of foliage. We just got rid of 80+% of the foliage, maybe 90%. This will sit inside in great warmth. We'll give it some humidity tray to have a lot of humidity around this guy, and it's in a really nice pot that it really likes, and so this is gonna be a fantastic pot inside for the winter. One that you like to have no matter what room you're in. This will be a fun one to watch it grow. And very thin and not a lot of leaves for me to be managing and looking for critters if they happen to infest me at all. If this is the front, this kind of protrudes our way a little bit too much. It is an odd branch, but if we cut this whole thing off here, it's just gonna be one old big chop. There is a nice branch growing over here that could be the new leader of that branch if we chopped it, but we're gonna leave it go for a while. We could pot it. This is a round pot, right? So could it be a little bit more off-centered this way and it'll look a little bit more attractive? We'll see in time. This is super huge, no branches up to here, but it'd be nice if something came back here. That would have to be a big chop. I don't know if we could chop this whole thing down here to match this guy, just a little bit lower, but we've got some nice division here with a leader branch here and kind of a primary branch here and here, but this one's super thick, so this is catching up to that. And we'll just kind of see as we go. And again, as this grows leaves back here, it's going to hide this sore here if we get some leaves out in this area. And then this will kind of maybe take away our eye from some of this mess. But over time, it hopefully will heal. So as we spin it around, you know, could that be a front someday? This is just way away from us, but who knows? We could still gouge more of this out, I suppose. But there's the tree. This was a tree given to me. So this tree so far, other than bonsai soil, this is a pot from my parents. This is almost like a free tree. So how can you go wrong by experimenting? Take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and we'll catch you on the next one. Welcome to Bonsai Acres.